we have a hard finish at 12:30. Yeah. That's great. Okay. Good. Thank you.
Won't be so hard to stop this.
Actually, it doesn't, because they always defer to, or most will get, Yeah, I know. She,
You gave it to him?
if you want to read that argument,
That's up for grabs.
I wasn't trying to get in there.
you disappointed. Just to make sure it's basically comfortable.
That's good. It's a really good instinct.
Is it?
It's very good.
Something so.
So it's gonna be just good to make this,
So thank you, Heather, for your detail. Thank you so much. I was so humbled by your words, and just to let you know that, like, you just don't know who I am. So, I aspire to all the things you seem to see, so thank you. It's the, I don't know if you have my phone.
It's the other one. Did you have a nice day?
He was the best. I had work, and it's been so crazy, so, I'm actually happy to see.
Did they do that?
That's why some people, that's the time that I can Sunday I'm here. Monday, usually Friday. You guys should too, right? Something's, oh, where is it? Okay, that's right. Okay, yeah.
We're gonna make a deal, it's kind of a big one.
Yeah, oh, yeah, it's right. Yeah, very well.
Five.
It's fast, it's a match for you. Well, you know, his sister, right?
We don't have, yes.
I will be here for a while.
Good to go?
Yes.
You play,
April 1st.
This is for you. Yeah.
You also wanted to keep that?
No, we want to hear your turn.
I'm part of the film crew today.
You take pictures and videos for me.
I'll take pictures and videos for you.
I
Okay.
want those pictures and videos.
Okay. My wife's good at that. She's our social media expert.
So you know, like, you take off the audience
on the
also.
plane.
Yeah, I'll stand up.
Yeah, she was just going to do the back of your head, man.
Huh?
Sorry.
Yesterday, that's what was happening in the bar. She just kept focusing on me. I said, I don't want the whole video, just
Would you like water then?
Oh yeah, my throat just dries up here.
Would you like a
There is
fisherman's
songbook
friend?
or something?
Would you like a fisherman's friend?
Well,
Little.
I
Okay. This It's like a lozenge that's very good for helping.
It's right, sometimes it's too much.
Yeah, this is
Right, it's right, no problem, no tone.
So we have 3 people watching now, so they're all 300. I mean,
Doesn't matter.
Make it so.
You have a song book, I can sing.
Yeah, we're usually here.
maybe we can put it on here, the song that you want.
Yeah,
And
that'd be
everybody
great.
can, because if you're just singing a song, we're all like kind of.
What is she gonna do?
I have to put a song there. So
Yeah, was that good for her too, or?
It is, no, I.
Just use 5 bucks.
Yeah.
Always show me fragments.
You got it upgraded up.
Melody, some song.
What song?
Yashomati Nandana.
Oh, perfect.
And you might have to drag it to the screen. This is nice because we were thinking of starting bhajans,
Yeah.
so I'm glad you are.
There should be bhajans.
About doing bhajan.
No, I just thought about it.
We were planning on this Krishna Jayant.
Hari Bol, Hari Naam Sankirtan ki jai. Hari Naam Sankirtan ki jai. Hari Naam
It should be a little bit of a.
Sankirtan ki jai.
Thank
Krishna is the beloved son of Mother Yashoda, the transcendental lover in the land of Raja, the delight of Gokula, Kanha, a nickname of Krishna, the wealth of the lives of the gopis. He steals the mind of even Cupid and punishes the Kaliya serpent. These pure holy names of Lord Hari are full of sweet nectarian pastimes. Krishna is the Lord of the 12 forests of Raja. He is ever youthful and is the best of lovers. He is always playing on a flute and he is an excellent dresser. Krishna is the protector of the inhabitants of Raja, the destroyer of various demoniac dynasties, the keeper and tender of Nanda Maharaj's cows, the giver of pleasure to the cows, land and the spiritual senses, the husband of the goddess of fortune, the butter thief and the beautiful cowherd boy of Nanda Maharaj. Krishna wanders along the banks of the river Yamuna. He stole the garments of the young damsels of Raja who were bathing there. He delights in the mellows of the rasa dance. He is very merciful, the lover and beloved of Srimati Radharani, the great dancer of Vrindavan and the shelter and only refuge of Thakur Bhakti Vinod. Hari Bol. Vrindavana Ramya Sthana. Should I say Vrindavana Ramya Sthana?
Okay. I just need to know how to find it.
What's it called? Vrindavan?
Vrindavana Ramya Sthana.
I think you can even do a Google search.
I didn't get it.
I think this is-
Even I didn't get that song.
Vrindavan?
I don't know.
Ramya Sthana, Ramya.
It was sung by
Okay, the first one.
I'll read the translation first. This bhajan Vrindavana Ramya Sthana is describing the beautiful land of Vrindavan. Beautiful Vrindavan is filled with Chintamani gems and many jewel palaces and temples. Many regal swans play in the waters of the Yamuna, and in those waters a splendid golden lotus flower grows. In the middle of that lotus is a golden place surrounded by 8 petals. On these 8 petals, the 8 principal gopis reside, and in the center, Lord Shyamsundar and beautiful Srimati Radharani sits on a jewel throne. The great beauty of the divine couple and their charming joking and laughter continuously showers nectar everywhere. Narottam Das says, I pray that these blissful, eternal, transcendental pastimes of the divine couple may be always manifest in my heart. Vrindavana, 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 Vrindavana Ramyasthana Divyachintamani Ama Ratana
He's too tall, right? Too tall.
Thank you very much for Kirtan, Devi. Hare Krishna, welcome to Bhagavat Sravana. Good to see you all here. We do Bhagavat Sravana every Sunday at 11 o'clock Kirtan and 11:30 class. There's no excuse for you not to be here. I don't care if you live on another continent. It doesn't matter. Please come to Bhagavat Sravana. Okay, it's a special Bhagavat Sravana. So many of them are. We have another special guest for you. Let me just tell you a little something about Sita Devi. She has a BDS, which is for dental surgery, an MS in psychotherapy and counseling. She's a qualified dentist, but is very passionate about also working with the environment and youth and women. She started the Bhaktivedanta Hospital Youth Foundation, under which she conducted the AIDS Awareness Counseling Program for youth, based on culture and traditional value systems of India for a decade, starting 2006 and going through till 2016, and impacted almost 50,000 young people. Beautiful. She initiated other projects, such as the anti-plastic campaign, which I want my wife to hear, because she's also passionate about that. She initiated other projects, such as the anti-plastic campaign and tree plantation drives, engaging youth from 50 schools and colleges in Mumbai. She's a sincere practitioner of Bhakti Yoga for the past 28 years. She presently heads the Women Empowerment and Skill Development Program for rural women at Radhanath Swami's Eco Village outside of Mumbai. This program assists local women with respect to various aspects of spirituality, such as spirituality, health, poverty alleviation, food security, and teaching them to make a livelihood through skills such as stitching, painting, handicrafts, and food production. As a trained dentist, she gives free treatment and awareness talks in the villages about general health and hygiene. She conducts workshops and seminars and conducts counseling and psychotherapy, especially for women's issues. She has participated in many conferences and seminars, such as the Nexus Conference, Eco Theology Conference, which was organized by Yale University at the GEV. So, very impressive. Yes, please join me in welcoming Sita Devi.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Om Jnantirandasya Dhyananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Vancha kalpatarubhyasya Kripa sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. The topic today is women from Srimad Bhagavatam, but I'll see that all the men here don't feel too left out. So,
We're all women in the spiritual world.
oh yes, thanks for that. Yeah. So, I wanted to say just that ultimately we are all Prakriti, which is the feminine. So, all of you can please feel included, because we are just going to talk about mainly the very, very amazing qualities that women have, and how we can, and all those qualities, if you go to see, can connect us to Krishna consciousness. So I will start with my presentation. As we know that women are the nurturers. I don't think any man would be here without a woman. So the women in our lives are is like the most important creation of the Lord. And I think God has invested women with all the powers, all the Shakti. In our Vedic culture, women is compared to Shakti, or the source of all energy of the Lord. And but as you all know, energy can be very, very dangerous thing, because in this world we see how energy can be utilized for good and for bad. As you all know about atomic energy, and presently we are all hearing the news how bombs are falling all over the place and there are wars everywhere. That same energy can be utilized in a very, very dangerous way. So similarly, women also are, blessed or given so much energy or power by the Lord, but we have to know that for sure that this power is like atomic energy. Sometimes women are referred to as bombs, but in a very, very derogatory way. But I want to say that it actually means that women have the power. It's like atomic energy, and if it is not used properly, it can be very, very destructive. So I think the men should become aware of this. So should know how to harness this energy or this power that God has given. And as I said, women is same as atomic power comparatively, but we know how when something goes wrong, women can really, create hell. I think all men have that experience. Hell hath no fury as a woman scorned. I think this is a very, very famous saying or a proverb. And we see in our Vedic scriptures also, there's a very, very powerful story of a woman who was scorned. Can anybody guess? She was not scorned. She was abused. There's a big difference. I'll give you a hint, it's in Mahabharata. Okay, then I'll tell the story because I don't think anybody guessed it. So in Mahabharata, the great personality Bhishma, he actually took a vow of celibacy just so that his, father his dynasty can go on. And his brother Vichitravirya, he had a brother who, was ready for marriage, and Bhishma Dev was wanting that the dynasty should move forward from his father's side. So he actually went to another place, dynasty, and there were 3 princesses whom he went and he just kind of abducted them, actually, literally picked them up so that they can be married to his brother. And so among the 3 sisters, the other 2 were very happy to get married to Vichitravirya, but unfortunately the first sister, her name was Amba, she was not happy about it at all, being forcibly abducted, not even giving a chance, to choose whom she wants to be with. I mean, that's how progressive our Vedic culture was, that women were always given the choice to choose their own partners, and she was forcibly abducted and she was already in love with someone else. So she immediately put her foot down and told Bhishma Dev that I want to be married to a person whom I love. And Bhishma Dev realized his mistake and he said, yes, I will take you back. And he took Amba back to the person whom she loved, who is Shalya. But again, social customs, and because he was from a royal family, he said, I cannot accept once you have been already abducted, and I will not be able to accept you again. And she was very, very upset because it's like her whole life was, in such difficulty because she had no shelter and she was not even accepted back by her own family. And so she said, you are the cause of my whole misery, Bhishma, so you have to get married to me. And as we all know that he had taken a vow and he said, sorry, I can't get married to you. And she said, you have to get married to me because now I have no other shelter. And he was very blunt. Unfortunately, sometimes, men can be very blunt and it can hurt, the soft hearts of a woman. And I think that's how she must have felt, so scorned by him. and so, put down and let down in her life, she swore, that I am going to make him pay for this. And she went to the forest and she started meditating, and with all her powerful energy, she directed towards pleasing, with her tapasya or her austerity, Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva appeared and gave her that benediction. And the one thing she asked is that I want to take revenge. I want to see that I am the cause of end of this great warrior personality, Bhishma Devi. And she was given that blessing that yes, you will be, given that power to really cause the end of this person. And as soon as she got that assurance, she left her body. And then she was born again as Shikhandi in the family of Drupada. And she later on, and she was born as a man, but all the memory of her past life as a woman. So she was born with this intention of hatred towards Bhishma, and she really wanted to, be somehow wanted to kill Bhishma. And that's how in the Mahabharat war, finally, when actually nobody can kill Bhishma. He was so powerful, he's a Maharati. Actually the Pandavas had to ask him, you are so powerful, how is the way? I mean, we just don't know how anybody can, defeat you in this battle. So out of his love, he revealed to them that I have one and only one condition, because he was a very, very honorable man. He said, I will never raise my hand or ever fight with a woman. That's a rare species nowadays. But he had this great honor that I will never raise my hand or kill or fight with any woman. So he gave them the solution that Shikhandi is actually a woman, but he's just born in a man's body, like a transgender, of today's. So if he's there, then I will not kill. So that's how her revenge was fulfilled. That in the war, she was in the chariot fighting against Bhishma, and he just didn't retaliate, and he was shot with all the arrows by Arjuna, and thus that was how he was defeated. So this is how we see in the Vedic culture also, we can see the power of a woman, and if she is not happy and kept happy, there can be a very, very hellish situation created. So as we know, Durga Devi, the whole power has been personified goddess of that is Durga Devi. And the word Durga actually means the superintendent of the jail. We are right now in this material world, which is, we may not like to hear this, but yes, it is a jail and we are all criminals. So we are here for, rectification. So that's why we all are suffering here. I don't think anybody can say that we are very, very happy. If we say we are happy, we are in an illusion, because that's just relief from pain. That little bit of respite from pain that we get, we just assume that is happiness, but actually that is not really happiness. So we are all miserable here. That's because we are criminals and we are in this jail, like material world, and she is the superintendent. A woman is in control here, So we see that the Lord, knew the potential, and that's how Durga, all the different goddesses, they are like, and if you go to see the major portfolios, like Saraswati is like the goddess of education and knowledge and wealth, which is very, very attractive to the men, to everyone, is by Lakshmi Devi. And Durga is the superintendent of this material world. So we know the women of substance. There are many, many examples. I have just, in this modern context that we are all in this modern world, we are seeing that times are changing. Women are becoming very, very, in the sense they are being given very, very responsible positions. There are just few examples which here, people think that India has been a country where women are being abused or not given the opportunities. But I really feel at least that the Vedic times, our original culture, our Sanatan Dharma, has always been empowering women and giving actually the most topmost positions, as we just talked. So it is just, I feel, a misconception, because it's not just India. I think as the time has degraded, and I would say that the quality of men who are not really able to accept or understand the culture of really giving that position of power and respect to the women, that has, over the years, you can see that has deteriorated. The quality of, so unfortunately, people think that, and the situation today is the same all over the world, not just in India. The women are being exploited, are being, not given that respect and position that they deserve. But here is an example of Rani Lakshmi Bai, she is the queen of Jhansi, and that was a small state in the country of India. And when the British invaded India, or they tried to take over all there was only one small state of Jhansi which was really resisting the British supremacy, and she was the queen of Jhansi. And her husband unfortunately died very early, and she had a very small young son, and she took up the position of the queen. She took the whole responsibility of the entire country, and she gave such a tough fight to the Britishers that they were shocked when they finally realized that actually it's a woman who's leading the army. And the final fight was so, gruesome, that she fought till the very end, and she actually tied her child behind her back, and on a horseback she was fighting with the British. So that's how powerful and brave she was, And we have many other examples, like Kavita Agarwal. She really went to space. She's from India, and she reached such high positions. And even Indra Nui, she's supposed to be an Indian lady, but she's one of the most successful businesswomen and CEO. And of course, I think India has the pride to say that we have had a woman Prime Minister, Indira Gandhi, for the longest time. And I don't think America has still caught up with that yet. So we hope that can be an inspiration for USA. But we have always had a woman Prime Minister for many, many terms, and even a president. She is our president. And what to speak of Mother Teresa? She is an epitome of, she stands for service and devotion to God. So all these wonderful qualities we see in a woman. And I would like to say one more very, very powerful proverb. I don't know whether you all have heard this, that the hand that rocks the cradle rules the world. Have you heard this proverb? Yeah, maybe it's popular in India, but the hand that rocks the cradle rules the world. And an example of that is the story of Shivaji Maharaj. Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj is the only king who gave such resistance and who fought against the British rule from the state of Maharashtra. And he was so powerful that he actually almost half of India he kind of recaptured it back from the British. And when he was a small child, of course, because the British came and took over their country, they were like not independent. But from his childhood, his mother, who was Jijabai, she wanted him, she had that vision that I want my son to become such a great king, and get back the Swaraj or our independence, So he was like one of the first pioneers of fighting for independence. And he turned out to be like this, the most bravest and the most courageous because of his mother. Because from his childhood, his mother would keep, training him, telling him all the stories from Mahabharata, Ramayana, giving him all the knowledge from the scriptures, training him to see the great legacy of Indian culture and how he must fight and get it back. So actually she developed his personality and brought him to that stage where he, became the famous Shivaji. So that is the power of a woman, even as a mother. Sometimes many women in Krishna consciousness, I have seen that they start feeling, oh, is that all I have to do? Like just take care of children, and all the services in the temple that I used to do before, everything is taken away and I'm not able to, I don't have the time or energy to do anything else. But actually, we have the great power in our hands when our children, we can give them those, the culture, the training by which they can become so strong in their character that they can be so much contributing to the world. So that power is there in our hands, and that is the greatest service that we can do. So it is not a small thing to be a woman and to be a mother, because that's the innate quality of a woman, to be a loving mother who can nurture. And so I would like to speak about 3 qualities that I would like to talk about. And if you see all these 3 qualities, it's nothing just to do with women, but every living entity. We have to develop these qualities if we really want to make spiritual progress in our life. And these 3 qualities, we see it in women, and we will talk about examples from Vedic who immortalize or epitomize that quality. So I've taken just these 3 qualities, though there are innumerable qualities that God has blessed women. But the first quality is of sacrifice. So sacrifice, I think all of you must have just close your eyes and remember your mother, and you will really experience or have an understanding of what sacrifice means. Mothers are not paid, but they still stay awake the whole night and take care of their children. Sorry, I have no problem. So, this quality of sacrifice, as devotees, so as devotees, this quality is very, very important, because we are actually being blessed with Krishna consciousness, which is the most highest gift of all. And if we do not realize that if we have been blessed with something so, like how they say, for one who's been given a lot, much is expected from them, right? Like we have been given, we have been given so much responsibility of getting this blessing of Krishna consciousness. So we have to develop this quality of sacrifice, where we go beyond our own needs, our own desires, our own wants. Because the whole world, we see that the materialistic culture is just focused towards I, me, mine, and that's how the whole material world is designed. But if you have been blessed with Krishna consciousness or spirituality, this path of bhakti, then we have to develop this quality of going beyond ourselves, where we are able to sacrifice our own desires, our own needs, and engage in the path of bhakti and give this Krishna consciousness to others. So that is what is needed. So, and the second quality is chastity and devotion, but I will talk about women that are showing this quality of sacrifice. And have you heard about Gandhari? She is a very, very important personality in Mahabharata, and she was a great woman. In fact, she is supposed to be one of the 7 most chaste women in the entire Vedic culture. She is known as one of the 7. And Gandhari was, she actually sacrificed her own vision. She was normal, but unfortunately or fortunately, she got married to a person who was born blind, Dhritarashtra, who was the father of all the Kauravas, and she was the mother, and she was married to a blind person. So from her childhood, I mean from when she was very young, she had decided that I want to be just like my husband, in the sense I don't want to be superior to my husband in any ways. I don't want him to feel that he's inferior in any way. So she actually sacrificed, and before she got married, she wanted to know how her husband lives, how does he manage without eyes. So as soon as she came to know that she's going to get married to a person who's blind, she put a blindfold on her eyes and she started practicing how to live a life without eyesight. You can imagine how difficult that is. It's a big sacrifice. And she actually did this sacrifice, and because she did this sacrifice, she was given with so much power and so much, it's like mystical divine power was given to her because of her sacrifice, because of her austerity. And later on in the war of Mahabharata, she knew the power that she had, and there was this big war between the Kauravas and the Pandavas, and she could see that the Kauravas, her own sons, were losing, and she wanted to give all her power that she has accumulated by her sacrifice to her son, Duryodhan. So she actually decided that I will open my blindfold just for a moment. She had so much power that if she would open her eyes, the energy or the power that would come from her eyes can make the body or whatever she sees into iron, like as strong as iron. You know how iron, metal, a block of iron can be so powerful. So she had that power, and that's what she wanted to do for her son. So she told Duryodhan, please come and meet me. It was in the middle of the war. He said, come and meet me in the evening after the war, but come completely naked. Because her desire was that if I remove my blindfold and if I see the whole body of Duryodhan, his whole body will be transformed as like iron, and then no arrow can go through his body. But of course, the story goes that he was tricked by Lord Krishna just when he was going to meet his mom, and Krishna met him and said, how can you go before your mother without any clothes? At least you should cover the middle part. You just wear something so that you can't go fully naked. and that's how he was tricked, and somehow his rest of the body became powerful, but just his groin and the pelvis area was the most weakest part of his body. So that's how he was killed ultimately. So that's how a mother, and a person like Gandhari got so much power. So, and this is another example of Panna Bai. I will just tell the story in short. She was like one of the maid servants of the king of Rajasthan, who was she was like the the nurse who used to take care of the children of the royal family. And the Mughals were going to attack this king, and the Mughals were somehow planning to kill not just the king but his entire family, even the son who would become the later the prince, even the prince. So the prince's name was Uday or something like that, and just to protect his son, he sent him away because he knew there is a threat. He sent the child away with the nurse in her village home, so that he's safe, so that the Mughals cannot find him. So she was keeping the child safe in her house along with her own son, and they used to play together. But unfortunately, somebody gave this information to the Mughals, and they came to her house to attack, and she knew that they are coming. So she dressed her own son as the prince's clothes. What a big sacrifice for a mother to do for the king, She dressed her own son as the prince, put him on the bed, and took the prince in plain clothes, and she saved the heir to the kingdom. So that's an example of Panna Bai, and she's immortalized till today. There are songs that are sung glorifying the quality of sacrifice of this great woman of India, till today. Chastity. So I know this is the modern women don't like this word chastity so much. Even the young girls today don't want to talk about this great quality, but this is one of the most powerful qualities. And in the Vedic culture, it is said that a chaste woman, has so much power just because of her being chaste to her husband. She gets so much power that she can even go back to Godhead by her spiritual power. That's the power that a chaste woman can really have. And like for example, we have the story of Sita Devi. It was just because of her power of chastity that even though she was abducted by this demon Ravana, he could not even come near her. There was so much power that he knew that if the moment he touches her, his head would have burst, or his whole body would have completely be destroyed. That much power she had. So he was always afraid, So she is a real, epitome of chastity. And this quality of chastity, now we may think, oh, this is only for women. But no, even men, this quality of chastity is, in a spiritual sense, we can understand in Krishna consciousness, we have to be chaste to our Guru, chaste to this legacy of Krishna consciousness that we have received from Srila Prabhupada, chaste to the instructions that we have received from our Guru, and chaste to the sadhana that has been given to us by our Guru. Because if we are not chaste and very, very strict about following all this, then we will see that we will not be able to get their mercy or the power or the blessings by which we can really, that we need in our lives. So this is an example of chastity, this quality which is very, very important for each one of us. So there is another example of Maharani Padmini. There is a very famous Hindi movie that has been released recently on this great story of this great queen, Maharani Padmini. And she displayed the most highest level of chastity in this modern situation, where she was the queen of the king of I forgot the place in Rajasthan again. She was the queen, and the Mughal Alauddin Khilji is one of the Mughals who attacked, and Padmini, Maharani Padmini, was the most beautiful woman of her time, of her times. She was known as the most beautiful, and the glory of her beauty was like spread all over the world at that time. So Alauddin Khilji knew about this, and he was, wanting to somehow or the other, see her just once. So he came with that only intention, that somehow I have to see her beauty and make her mine. That was his only motivation to come and attack this place, So somehow in the beginning, he, kept attacking again and again, and he said that just what I need is just one glimpse of Rani Padmini. I just want to see a glimpse. So actually, just so that he leaves them alone, she agreed, and she said that he cannot see me directly, but he can just see a reflection of me. So they made this condition that he will stand outside the palace or something down, and from there he could just see the reflection of Maharani Padmini. And he actually saw her reflection, and he was supposed to leave and go, but after seeing the reflection, he became so convinced. I mean, he became completely taken over by lust, and he said, I have to somehow, get her, So unfortunately, he attacked, and somehow he kidnapped, or what do you call it? He took the king, her husband, and held him captive. And he was forcing her that if you don't come to my palace, I will kill him. So she was very, very smart, and she planned a very, very, detailed attack, that she told him that yes, I will come, but along with me, I will bring more than 1,000 of my maids with me. I will not come alone. He agreed to all the conditions because he was so lusty. He thought, okay, great. And so she planned very meticulously. She took the best warriors, like the commandos, the top level warriors, and they all dressed as women. And she took all of them inside the palace of Alauddin Khilji. Am I saying the right? Alauddin Khilji only, no?
I don't remember
The name of the, but I think it's the same. So she entered. Huh?
Was that Chittorgarh?
Yeah,
Ah.
Chittorgarh, yeah.
Chittorgarh.
So she entered the palace with all of them, and of course the message had already gone to the king that we are coming to save you. So even he was ready, and they made this amazing plan, and they attacked, and they rescued her husband, the king, and they brought him safely back. And then there was the most gruesome war that took place, and unfortunately all the Rajputs, like the king and all the soldiers, they knew that this is going to be a fight to the finish. It's not going to be that, we have to, so the chastity of the women was so great. I mean, the quality of women at that time was so great that the women told the men, the soldiers, please don't fight with this fear that, what will happen to all the women. You go to the war as if we are already dead. Because the moment, he reaches the gates, if he reaches the gates of our fort, he will not find any one of the women, so you fight till the finish. You fight with that courage, and that's how they motivated the men. And actually the women, they were ready, waiting. The last soldier was killed, and as soon as Alauddin Khilji reached the gates of the fort, all the women, they created a big fire called as Jauhar, and they all jumped into the fire to save the honor of their own honor and their chastity and the honor of all the soldiers who were fighting for the country. I mean, that's the quality and the greatness of the women. That this quality of chastity was so much, it's more valuable for them than their own lives. And that's how they proved, their courage and their strength. And of course, the quality of devotion to the Lord, devotion to, Guru, devotion. This quality of devotion is so important for all devotees, men, women, alike. We have to develop this quality of devotion, and we have to what do you call it? It's a heritage that we have received from the Vedic culture. Inheritance that we have received from our Sanatan Dharma, and we are the carriers of that. So we have to strive to develop this devotion to this path of bhakti, because as Prabhupada said, devotion is, he's defined bhakti as devotional service, not just devotion and emotion. It's not just an emotion. We can say like, I love you, but how do you express your love? It's through service. Only when we serve in the mood of a servant, that's the real expression of our love and devotion. So the Vedic example of the most greatest woman who really epitomized this quality is Kunti Maharani. So for short of time, I will not go into detail, but Kunti Maharani is a great example of devotion, that her devotion for Krishna was such that in her prayers to, the prayers of Queen Kunti are so beautiful. It's immortalized in Srimad Bhagavatam, and the most greatest, knowledgeable, renounced people also, they chant these mantras, because the level of devotion, the level of surrender that she has expressed in those verses in Srimad Bhagavatam, the first canto, 8th chapter. I would really recommend that you read those verses of Kunti Maharani's prayers, then you will get a glimpse of what is real devotion. So, and a modern day example, of course, is Mother Teresa, where her service was not motivated by any external, philanthropic aims. And of course, Srila Prabhupada, he is a perfect example also, that his devotion to his Guru made him go through the most arduous journey ever to come to this land in New York City and give this bhakti to the Western world. He brought, and that's the expression of his devotion. So these are the three qualities which we should meditate on, and I will skip some of the slides because I don't think it is really relevant to this topic. But yes, I will talk about this spiritual potential that we all should focus on. Just like these qualities, they are all important spiritual qualities which is within each one of us, but we are like these caterpillars, stuck in this cocoons. We're bound by this material nature. We are bound by our own weaknesses, our own, and as women, also, we may be having a lot of weaknesses, but we can flourish and we really bloom, and but if we need a support, we always need that support, and each one of us needs that support, right? And when we get that support, from that caterpillar, something very beautiful like this beautiful butterfly, can manifest from the cocoons. And the way we can get that is by taking the shelter and the support of the devotees, and in the association of devotees, if we take to this process of Krishna consciousness, which is the chanting of the holy name, the study of the scriptures, and honoring prasad together, these are the basic things which will help us to develop these beautiful qualities, these beautiful feminine qualities, these beautiful devotional qualities which will take us closer to Krishna in this very life. And by the mercy of all the Vaishnavas and Guru, we can perfect our lives in this short time that we are there in this material world. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. If there is any questions, we have about 7 minutes, then we can have a discussion or any comments that you liked. Hare Krishna, thank you very much.
It was interesting at the beginning of your talk, you made sure to include the men. Well, we'll have something for you too. I thought it was interesting because normally we hear stories about men from the Bhagavatam. I never heard anybody say like, we'll make it relevant for the women too. But it's inherently valuable for both. I'm sorry we didn't have time to get to those other slides.
Yeah.
So your point about women being so powerful, and that it's throughout the Vedic canon. How is it that doesn't get much press? Because when people think about it, or if they don't think about it, sort of the default position is, oh, women are oppressed throughout the Vedas. Women are second-class citizens. But you don't seem to think that that's the case. So why is there that misunderstanding? And how might we be able to rectify that?
Yeah, definitely not in the Vedic and the Sanatan Dharma situation. It is never like that. And we have so many examples that we could see that they were given positions of power and they were given so much opportunity for their choice. And yes, and that is not being given enough exposure or press, as you say. Because that's how it is, so much of our Vedic culture has been, the narrative has been changed. And that's mainly because of, so many influences from the Western. When the British came, they came with their own understanding, as we already know about the whole concept of colonialization. They came with the mindset that we are superior and we are here to, save all these aboriginal and very, very, we want to teach them how to become civilized. That was their mindset, unfortunately. And that's how they came into India, and this word mythology is, I think, their word. It's not our word. They kind of made the entire, Indian culture and our scriptures, and they just labeled it as mythology, which is a myth, or it's just made up stories. Probably affected their, feeling of superiority, that there can be a civilization much more superior than there. But yeah, the narrative was changed, and they created a mindset. Even the Indian people, unfortunately, started taking to that understanding that that we are not good enough, something like that. So, unfortunately, women have. That is our Vedic culture, where women don't really they're not fighting. I mean, the whole women's liberation movement, which started in the West, it started because they were so oppressed, right? Obviously, if somebody is so oppressed, they will retaliate back, and that's what is the women's liberation movement. Is because they never felt as if they were given any, chance also. I mean, they were not even given chance to vote. That's what I heard. They were not even considered citizens to be voting. But there was never a women's liberation movement in the Vedic times ever. Why? Because they were not oppressed. They were not, deprived. Because they were, happy in their position. They were happy within their feminine natural quality. When the feminine natural quality of a woman is allowed to, allowed for a woman, she will feel so comfortable and happy. So she will not, retaliate or create. So probably there was no press because there was no big movement in the Vedic times and till today, So yeah, times are changing now presently in India also, where women are, really making in every field. They are being given a position. They are being given. But I'm talking about in Krishna consciousness, in our spiritual communities, there is a great need to really give this some press. I think we have to bring it more into the forefront that Srila Prabhupada gave always an equal opportunity to women, because on the spiritual platform, everyone is the same. We are all one. Just like a man can contribute to the movement, even a woman can. And that needs to be given a lot of press. We need to really speak about it more. Because that is what is the need of the hour. The world needs Krishna consciousness, and if we keep the women behind, we will be the losers. And if you suppress them and exploit, then that is the worst thing that you can do for a spiritual movement like ISKCON. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Anyone else?
First, we
Oh, thank you.
have 1 minute.
Hare Krishna, thank you. Will you speak a little bit about the walking through the fire and why that Sita Devi walks through the fire, and just a little bit more so?
Yeah, it is a pastime where in the world many are misunderstanding it. They see it as a sign of exploitation of the woman, that she had to walk through fire to prove her chastity. But the reality is that Sita Devi was not an oppressed woman or a weak woman. She was a royal queen. She was a queen. She's not an ordinary lady also. So she knew the importance of, how to uphold the king's honor. So it was a very close, intimate understanding between Ram and Sita. Sita knew in her heart that Lord Ram is not doubting her. He is not kind of trying to prove her chastity. He himself was convinced. But to uphold his honor as a king and, this is like a social custom at that time, to prove to the world, her purity. And there is another very, very hidden reason which is in the scriptures, which we can talk about it later, that through that fire the real Sita was exchanged when she walked through the fire, because the Sita who walked through the fire was Maya Sita, Vedavati. Vedavati, yeah. So that's the inner reason, but external reason is it's not to show that she's not pure. rather to prove her greatness, Lord Ram did this whole pastime. Thank you very much.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Thank you.
See you today, everybody.
We'll clear around the mat and chairs. We'll have a powerful woman lead kirtan. Can we have a powerful woman pounce the windows?
She's not Shiva Tattva, is we would have look at the wife of gods, which is not cheap. Wife of God is so is this that's just part of
Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Discount founder of Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki jai. BBT founder Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Ram Sivaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasudeva Gaura Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shama Kun Radha Kun Giri Govardhana ki jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Mayapur Navadvip Dham ki jai. Ganga Mai ki jai. Yamuna Mai ki jai. Tulsi Devi ki jai. Bhakti Devi ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Muralidhar ki jai. Gaurachandra Bhagavan ki jai. Nrsingadev ki jai. Nityago Premanandi. Glories to the assembled devotees. Glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the lotus feet of Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Sure. Huh? Oh, okay, great, thank you. I just wanted to make sure. Yes, I can see. Thank you so much. Okay. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Jai 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 Jai
morning, this afternoon, Bhagavat Sravana. We are here again every Sunday morning at 11 o'clock with different speakers on Bhagavatam. So thank you for participating. I have, before we go to Prasadam, Prasadam will be served in the rear of the temple room. Before we get to Prasadam, there are 3 announcements. The first announcement is that Ram Navami is coming up this Tuesday, and Bhakti Center will celebrate the appearance of Lord Ram this Tuesday at 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock, beginning at 6 o'clock. Prasadam will be served at 9 o'clock. So it's a nice program. Please come if you can this Tuesday. Announcement number 2. Every Wednesday evening, the Bhakti Center hosts a program in honor of Srila Prabhupada called Prabhupada Meditations. This takes place at 26 2nd Avenue on the other side of the block. So it's actually at 26 2nd Avenue, which is the most appropriate place to glorify Srila Prabhupada. Every Wednesday evening at 6:30. It's a short program, just 6:30 to 7:30. The prasadam will be served at 7:30. That's at 2nd Avenue every Wednesday evening. The third announcement is that there is no third announcement. So please take prasadam in the back.
Fourth announcement, we wish there was a third announcement. Bhagavat Sravana ki
Jai.
Yadunath Prabhu ki
Jai.
Jai Premanande.
Yeah. But I really wanted to.
Is that her first time?
That was my first time. Yes.
She's so confident. So nicely. Amazing.
Like
Thanks
a
for
pro.
giving me the opportunity to serve.
Yay! Power to the ladies.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I do like to listen to that, and I listened to it.